Today marks the finalization of an agreement that will see the largest land transfer in the history of Canada. 2 million square kilometres of land and waters will be transferred from the Government of Canada to the Government of Nunavut, to Nunavut. There are so many people to thank, but I want to start by thanking my friend and colleague, Minister Dan Vandal, who has been there for this government every step of the way, working with all of you, with so many leaders in this room, to make sure we're moving forward in the right direction. I also want to recognize and thank Carolyn Bennett, who in her entire time as responsible minister was deeply dedicated to moving this process along from the Government of Canada side. I have to thank also the Government of Nunavut, Premier Achiagut, PJ, for this being a huge priority for you in office, like it was for those who served before you, like it has been for our government. And I want to thank also to NTI, to Aluki, for your work, your steady leadership, and for your steadfast commitment to making sure Inuit rights are always upheld. I also need to recognize everyone in this room who were part of getting to the conclusion of this agreement, members of the Nunavut legislature, past and present, past premiers, parliamentarians like my colleague Laurie Udlut, and so many other community leaders, elders, people who've contributed with their vision, with their passion to making sure that today happens and that we continue on this path forward. A lot of work has gone into making today possible. Leaders, negotiators, officials of many stripes have all worked hard for years with the same goal, for Nunavut to have increased control for decisions on their land, waters, and resources. And our government will provide funding to be there with you throughout the 3-year implementation period to come and beyond. From where we are here today, on this beautiful day in Iqaluit, we get a sense of just how vast and special this land is. I can't help but think of it every time I travel to the north, whether it was as Prime Minister a number of times here to Iqaluit or to Cambridge Bay or to Arctic Bay or to other places across this beautiful land. But on this historic day, I can't help but think back to the many, many trips I got to take here all my life, as a young man discovering this country, and also as a kid with my father, who had an extraordinary love for this part of the world that he passed on to me. And that's why it's very special for me, alongside Aluki as her grandson beside her and PJ with his kids. I really wanted to bring my own son, Hadrian, to witness this historic day and see what this country can achieve when we truly work together. This is a place truly unique in the world. An Arctic archipelago with animals, birds, and precious sea ice. A place where many people still live off the land. A place that is seeing some of the fastest warming on the planet as a result of climate change. A place of deep meaning to Inuit. As Dan pointed out, the very name of this territory, Nunavut, means our land in your language. Les Nunavummiut sont les gardiens de ces terres, de ces eaux et de ces glaces depuis longtemps. Avec la signature aujourd'hui, vous auriez plus de contrôle sur l'utilisation, la gestion, le développement et la conservation de ces ressources. Et un quart de siècle, le territoire du Nunavut a été établi et a permis aux Inuits, qui sont la majorité de la population, de former un gouvernement indépendant. Cette mesure a été importante dans le cadre de notre travail de réconciliation. Et grâce au leadership des Inuits, le territoire s'est forgé une identité forte, en plus de bien servir les gens. Inuit have hunted and and fished and lived on these lands for generations, some going back well before recorded history. Today begins a new chapter in the history of Nunavut, a transformative chapter. Now, the formal name for this process is devolution, but in many ways it's more of an evolution in our partnership as the federal government and the territory, and also an evolution in the progress towards self-determination for Inuit living in Nunavut. It makes me think of the Inuit word ayuinata, a word that our Governor General, Mary Simon, has shared many times with all Canadians and indeed with the world. A term that means never give up. It's what led to the formation of this territory. It's what got us to today's agreement. And it's what will make sure that we continue to build a better future for the people of Nunavut. We have worked together as federal and territorial partners to deliver for the people we serve. A year ago, PJ, you came to Ottawa to be part of a meeting on how we could improve health care across Canada. And in July, your government and ours were able to sign an agreement in principle that will see the federal government invest hundreds of millions of dollars in Nunavut over the next decade. This will improve access to care, including mental health and addictions care, support healthcare workers, and make sure that Indigenous peoples have equal access to high-quality and culturally appropriate health services. We've also worked together to deliver $10 a day childcare ahead of schedule, and we're working together to improve services. We are investing in northern housing, including investments through our Housing Accelerator Fund that will spur the construction of over 3,000 homes in Nunavut communities over the next decade. And when we hosted COP15 a little over a year ago, we announced funding for Indigenous-led conservation here in Nunavut, where around 1 million square kilometers will be managed by local communities using Inuit knowledge and practices, creating one of the world's largest networks of Inuit-led protected areas. We know that there is so much more to do, and our strong partnership will help us get even more done as we embark upon this new, exciting step for all of us. All of this work is about building a better future for the people of Nunavut, to make sure that you benefit from the prosperity of Canada and are full participants. Ensemble, on bâtit un avenir meilleur pour les citoyens du Nunavut, un avenir qui vous offre de nouvelles opportunités économiques, de nouveaux emplois et une plus grande maîtrise de votre avenir. This is a place that is rich with culture, traditional knowledge, critical minerals, and other resources that are needed as we build the economy of the future together. And with this increased control, you will be able to have more say and more prosperity as Nunavut chooses to take advantage of these opportunities. Opportunities that will create jobs, opportunities that will spur new investments, and opportunities that will strengthen self-determination for the people who live, work, and are leaders here in Nunavut. Thank you all for being part of this historic moment. Merci, Kuyanamik.